Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. We're often told that aging comes with a steep price. Our memory starts to fade, our thoughts slow down, and the sharpness of our youth begins to blur. It's a narrative of inevitable decline. But what if I told you that story isn't entirely true? What if there's a group of people in their 80s and 90s whose memories are just as sharp as those of people 30 years younger? These aren't characters from a sci-fi movie. They are real, and science calls them cognitive super-agers. For over 25 years, researchers at institutions like Northwestern University have been studying these remarkable individuals, trying to unlock the secrets to their age-defying brains. And what they're finding is that maintaining a youthful mind isn't just about winning the genetic lottery. It's a fascinating mix of biology, lifestyle, and psychology that offers a roadmap for all of us. So today, we're going to dive deep into the world of super-agers and uncover how their brains defy time. At the very core of the super-ager phenomenon is a brain that is, quite simply, built different. Decades of neuroimaging and even post-mortem studies have revealed a biological landscape that sets them apart from their peers. The most striking difference is how their brains physically age, or rather, how they don't. The average brain shrinks over time, a process called atrophy. It's a natural part of aging. But the brains of super-agers shrink at a dramatically slower rate. One landmark study found that while a typical older adult loses about 2.24% of their brain volume each year, a super-ager loses only about 1.06%. That's less than half the rate of decline. This preservation is most obvious in the cortex, the brain's wrinkly outer layer responsible for almost everything we consider thinking, language, memory, and complex thought. In super-agers, the cortex remains incredibly thick, looking more like the brain of someone in their 50s or 60s than someone in their 80s. When scientists zoomed in even further, they found a hotspot of activity in a region called the anterior cingulate cortex. This area is a crucial hub for attention, motivation, and sorting through information for memory and decision-making. In super-agers, this region isn't just thicker than in their peers. In some cases, it's even thicker than in healthy middle-aged adults. It's as if this critical part of their brain is not just resisting aging, but actively thriving. But the differences go even deeper, down to the cellular level. Super-ager brains are packed with a special kind of neuron called von Economo neurons, also known as spindle cells because of their unique shape. These large neurons are believed to be linked to our social intelligence, our ability to process emotions, and our sense of self-awareness. Autopsies have revealed that a super-ager can have 4 to 5 times more of these neurons than the average 80-year-old. This finding is a powerful clue that our social lives might be physically sculpting our brains for longevity. Perhaps the most mind-bending discovery is how super-ager brains handle the pathologies of Alzheimer's disease. The two infamous hallmarks of Alzheimer's are amyloid plaques and tau tangles, sticky proteins that gum up the brain's machinery and kill neurons. Researchers have found that super-agers fight this in two ways: resistance and resilience. Some super-agers show incredible resistance. Their brains simply have very few plaques and tangles, as if they have a biological shield, but others are even more mysterious. They display incredible resilience. Post-mortem examinations of their brains reveal significant plaque and tangle buildup, enough to have caused severe dementia in a typical person. Yet, these individuals showed absolutely no signs of memory loss during their lives. Their brains, somehow, were able to function perfectly normally, despite the underlying damage. They tolerated the disease without succumbing to its effects. This biological armor is incredible, but it's not the whole story. The choices we make every day play a massive role. The lifestyle habits of super-agers provide an inspiring and practical blueprint for anyone who wants to protect their own cognitive health. Let's start with movement. A consistent theme in the lives of super-agers is physical activity. This doesn't mean they're all running marathons. It means they lead active lives. Regular exercise is like a super fertilizer for the brain. It boosts blood flow, delivering more oxygen and essential nutrients that brain cells need to thrive. Studies have consistently shown that even moderate exercise, a couple of times a week, can significantly lower the risk of developing dementia later in life. But intensity might matter. A Spanish study found that super-agers didn't necessarily exercise more often than their peers, but they were more likely to have been more physically active during middle age and to engage in more demanding activities. This suggests that building up a foundation of fitness in your 40s and 50s can pay huge dividends for your brain in your 80s and 90s. Next up is fuel. What we eat has a direct and profound impact on our brain. Many super-agers naturally gravitate towards diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, while keeping processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats to a minimum. This pattern is reflected in diets like the Mediterranean diet and the Mind diet, both of which have been scientifically linked to better cognitive outcomes and a slower rate of decline in older adults. These diets are packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. Think of these as a rust-proofing treatment for your brain cells, protecting them from the oxidative stress and inflammation that can lead to damage. Foods like leafy greens, colorful berries, nuts, and fatty fish like salmon are cornerstones of these diets, and they are loaded with brain-boosting nutrients. Interestingly, super-agers aren't necessarily Puritans. Some enjoy a daily cocktail, and research has shown that moderate alcohol consumption may be linked to a lower risk of developing Alzheimer's. The operative word, as always, is moderation. You've probably heard the phrase, "use it or lose it," and when it comes to the brain, it's a scientific fact. Super-agers are defined by their intellectual curiosity and their commitment to lifelong learning. They are constantly challenging their minds. This doesn't mean you have to go back to school and get a PhD in physics. It can mean learning a new language, mastering a musical instrument, or even just reading deeply about an unfamiliar topic. These activities build what scientists call cognitive reserve. Think of it like building a network of cognitive detours in your brain. When one neural pathway becomes blocked or damaged by age, a brain with high cognitive reserve can simply find an alternate route to get the job done. This makes the brain more resilient to damage, and these cognitive workouts can be fun. Puzzles like Sudoku and crosswords, card games like bridge, and strategic board games like chess are all fantastic for keeping your mind engaged. The key is to find activities that are both enjoyable and challenging, and to mix things up to keep your brain on its toes. As one super-ager named Nancy, who learned piano, chess, and pool in her later years, famously said, "The word boredom has never been allowed in my house." Perhaps the most powerful and consistent finding in super-ager research is the importance of strong social connections. These individuals aren't lone wolves. They have robust social networks and report having deep, meaningful relationships. This isn't just about feeling good. It appears to be structurally protective for the brain. Remember those von Economo neurons, the ones linked to social intelligence, that are found in abundance in super-ager brains? This provides a biological basis for the social brain hypothesis. Constant social interaction stimulates the brain in complex ways. It helps buffer stress, and it fosters a positive outlook on life, all of which are ingredients for cognitive health. Building and maintaining these connections takes intentional effort, especially as we get older. It might mean joining a club, volunteering for a cause you care about, or simply using technology to stay in touch with family and friends who live far away. Intergenerational relationships can be especially enriching. Beyond biology and lifestyle, there's another crucial layer: psychology. Super-agers seem to share a unique mindset, a particular way of looking at the world. A positive mental attitude is a common thread. They tend to have a glass-half-full perspective and are incredibly adept at navigating the challenges and setbacks that life inevitably throws our way. This emotional resilience, this ability to manage stress effectively, may be one of their greatest defenses against cognitive decline. Many super-agers have faced profound adversity. They have survived wars, lost children, and overcome great personal hardships. Yet, they demonstrate a remarkable capacity to bounce back. to find meaning and purpose, even in the face of suffering. This leads to another key psychological trait, a strong sense of purpose. Having a reason to get out of bed in the morning is a powerful motivator. For super-agers, this often comes from volunteering, mentoring younger generations, or pursuing a passion project with vigor. This engagement doesn't just provide a sense of fulfillment, it keeps them mentally stimulated and socially active, creating a virtuous cycle of well-being. This quest to understand super-agers is a global effort. The Northwestern University's super-aging program has been tracking its cohort for decades, providing invaluable long-term data. Another fascinating project is the Salento Initiative on Aging Outcomes, in a region of southern Italy famous for its long-lived residents. By studying their diet, genetics, and lifestyle, scientists are confirming the importance of the Mediterranean diet, physical activity, and tight-knit social bonds. Of course, we can't ignore genetics. There is undoubtedly a genetic component to being a super-ager. For instance, the APOE gene is a well-known risk factor for Alzheimer's, and certain variants of it are much less common in super-agers. More recently, a gene called MAP2K3 has been identified as potentially helping to create a more resilient memory. But the new frontier is epigenetics, the study of how our behaviors and environment can change the way our genes work. It's highly likely that the positive lifestyle choices of super-agers are actually influencing their gene expression, turning on protective genes and turning off harmful ones. This is where nurture powerfully shapes nature. So what does this all mean for us? The study of super-agers is more than a scientific curiosity. It's a source of profound inspiration and a practical guide for aging well. While you may not have won the genetic lottery, the research is overwhelmingly clear. You have tremendous power to shape your cognitive destiny through your lifestyle and mindset. The lessons are simple, but powerful. Stay physically active, challenge your mind relentlessly, nurture your social connections as if they were a vital lifeline, and cultivate a positive, resilient, and purposeful outlook on life. It is never too late or too early to start. As 95-year-old super-ager Sally Froelich advises, eat 3 meals a day. I don't overeat. Don't smoke or drink excessively. Exercise regularly. She also stresses the importance of taking care of yourself and maintaining a positive attitude. The journey to a long and cognitively healthy life isn't about finding a single magic pill. It's about a holistic approach that nurtures the brain, body, and spirit. The story of the super-agers is a powerful testament to the incredible plasticity of the human brain. It reminds us that while aging is a fact of life, significant cognitive decline doesn't have to be. Thanks for tuning in to Fun Facts Online.